Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fly the Coop. We're so happy to have you listening in today. I am honored to have Pastor Larry Forsberg in the house. You're going to really love this story, everybody. Larry comes to us with a long, beautiful story of servicing in the communities of, well, we're going to start with Care Partners right now. 11 and a half years as a chaplain, everybody. 2 years in prison ministry, just really impressive. And another 30 years as a pastor all over the country in a variety of churches in California, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, and so many more. So, Larry, we're going to reverse engineer the story and start with the end in mind, everybody. Well, not really the end. We're going to talk about Care Partner team, the Marketplace Care Partners. Fascinating. We had Larry and his wife over for dinner last week, and we started delving into this, and it's pretty amazing the need and what you're doing with this and in the growing trend. So let's start with that, Larry, today, and let's talk about Marketplace.
Okay. Well, good to be here with you, Carrie, and thank you for a beautiful dinner we had a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful time to get together with your kids. And Marketplace Care Partners is a nationwide company. It's been around since 1984.
Okay.
It's in every state of the union and a little bit into Mexico and also Canada.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it serves thousands of businesses all over the country, people that realizing that they need some emotional, relational, mental health support that might not be, in a sense, clinical as far as going to a counselor for support, but just there at the market, in the marketplace and business world.
Right.
Our HR people are looking for someone that just is going to listen to their story, their pain, their heartache, and we're about helping people resolve issues that they're facing, whether it's, like I say, mental health issues or stress or relational problems. And the company's kind of hired us as
a rolling psychologist almost on the floor of manufacturing plants as an example.
Yeah. Some of us actually have those kinds of degrees and past experiences. I mean, pastoring for 30 years, a lot of marriage counseling through those years. I've been married 50 years myself and have 6 grandkids and 2 wonderful kids that I'm married. So, those lifelong experiences helps no matter where you go in life. So Care Partners is a wonderful, I can't think of a better way to end my working career, and I'm 73.
Isn't that amazing?
Hopefully it'll be another 5-10 more years. We'll see how far God takes me, but it's been a blessing to help people deal with their issues they're facing and be there for them when their life's falling apart.
During a time in life where stress levels and the burdens of life are becoming a more heavy weight, what I thought fascinating when we were talking about this, everybody, is when you look at the whole premise behind what we're doing here on this podcast and life transition and the decision making that goes along with that, paired with the stress, real stress of everyday life, the reality that in the workplace and the shifts and changes that have happened in our work environment, especially post-COVID.
Right.
And the stress load that comes because of that. Yeah. This is on fire right now. So basically, Larry,
I'm one of the Care Partners. Yeah,
he's one of the Care Partners. So a company, you think of any major corporation name, we won't throw. I don't know if we can throw anyone out, but they come in through human resources.
Yep.
And they bring a Larry Forsberg into their organization as a contractor. They don't employ you. It's like it's a subcontracting group. And they literally are working an 8-hour day within a sales team or in a manufacturing plant and just having conversations with people.
Yep. We're just there. We walk around the production floor or the office and just greet people and say, how's your day going? How was your weekend? And they know who we are. We've been there for a while. And so they're open sometimes to talk about life issues. And that's thrilling to earn their trust and then also have an opportunity to help them resolve and get some steps and create a plan to heal up. So it's a wonderful opportunity.
The healing process, like how people's mental stability, we'll call it. All of us, everybody has a challenge, right? Multiple challenges they're dealing with. The workplace is such an important grounding foundation to a person's life. It's the security blanket of how their entire life unfolds because it's the financial component to functioning, right? So during a time, you've been a pastor and really have lived a life, Larry, of donating your time and counseling and advising your entire life. What are you seeing out there right now as a marketplace caregiver in terms of the issues that are fronting people at the moment in comparison to your past 40 years of what you've done?
Well, it's unprecedented the last 2.5 years, the isolation, the lockdowns, and all the issues that deal with health and relationships. And, the whole COVID thing has been, we've grown 25%, the company has nationwide since COVID started.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, so people are, as a matter of fact, when I do an employee orientation, we have a video, kind of an animated video about what we offer to the people. And whether it's a manufacturing company or they're selling tires or whatever they're doing, at the very end of our video, we share, it says, the reason we have hired us is because your company cares for you and your family. So this is not only for the employee, but it's the employee's parents, the employee's siblings that don't even work there, and their children.
Right.
So it's an amazing offering that the companies would have us come in.
It's amazing.
And then they just, many people that I'm doing the orientation with, they say, "You mean you care for my mom and my dad and my brothers and sisters?" I said, "Yeah, we're available 24/7.
Isn't that amazing, everyone?
Yeah.
I just think that's remarkable. If you were to look at the Fortune 500 family without calling out any one company, what do you think the percentile right now, Larry, of companies out there are leaning into or turning to a caregiving organization to get some support and help with their people?
Right. Well, everybody I know has, not except smaller companies that can't afford it, but
right.
And ours is very reasonable, by the way. But there's this huge concern for their well-being. The company is concerned about that. We've had, of course, suicidal engagements, and thank the Lord we were able to help not complete those kinds of things, because your reward for that is overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah. But there's everything from financial issues to relationship issues that people have. And depression is huge. Anxiety
is huge.
Those are probably the two biggest, plus suicidal thoughts. And so many companies have dealt with that, and the tragedy that is to the entire family. So we're there to help.
Yeah. So Pastor Larry, Steve and I met you through what everybody knows. We moved. One of the inspirations for Fly the Coop, everybody, is this new homestead that we're building together. We're a blended family, Steve and I, and we adopted Larry when we purchased this home. We did. Polly and Don, who I mention often, are the original owners and creators of this beautiful piece of real estate, and our longtime friends, and are still the pastor, Pastor Larry. Well, now you're not in the church serving that way, but you're good friends with Don and Polly, and we adopted Larry because he hunts on our property.
Matter of fact, I just came out of the woods. That's why I look like a mess. I was out doing
It's hot out.
Yeah, it's hot, but it's doing some food plots.
Because
we are rabbit hunters, and with Trace, it's been a joy just to see the joy in his face when we go out hunting.
I know. So we're leaping a little bit, but that's the basis. And when we were having dinner together a week and a half ago, we started visiting around what's going on out there right now in terms of people making major decisions on their personal life, where they're going, where they're working, family, the ways of the world right now. And it was a long conversation, obviously, but spearheading all of it, the premise and the need behind a care partner team, but what's happening out there as a high level umbrella statement, especially with your role, and you've had so much exposure all over the country. I guess the point is, the question I've got is, why is it elevated so quickly in your opinion? I've got an opinion, we all know. But in your opinion, what's happening out there that the anxiety, the depression, the stress around decision-making on the basics of life, which includes lifestyle moving. I mean, we feel it, the coaching and counseling that we do in the work I'm involved in. What do you think's going on?
That is a
big question.
Big question. There's a lot of answers to that, but there's never been a time in my life, and I've been around even during the Vietnam era, where the country is so divided and so tense about everything, I mean, politically, and there's such a huge change in our country that is difficult to deal with, and hopefully there's wiser people will prevail, and there'll be some kind of semblance and backing off. But if you have a different view than somebody else, and then in the battle, barriers come up. And that's a heartache.
Yeah.
Realizing that there's 2 or 3 worldviews that are coming to a clashing point.
Right.
And it's difficult
to navigate
all that. Hopefully it can be done with fairness and equity and good judgment rather than the anger and the vitriol and the name calling and all that kind of thing. If we were just to get down to the issues, I think we'd find common ground.
Right.
In fact, when Reagan and Tip O'Neill were good friends way back in the day, one Democrat, one Republican, they were good friends.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd hope to see happen, that people could say,
I agree with
I love
that.
you, you're my neighbor. Matter of fact, we just post that all over the place. Love your neighbor. Just love your neighbor. Just
love is love and happiness, and leading with that.
Yeah. Just say love one another. Period.
And really embracing in a loving way every single decision that you're making every single day with patience and empathy, and giving yourselves some room for, grace.
Right.
If everyone could lead that way, regardless of what decision you're making, whether it's leaping into a new home or starting a family or starting a new job, and leaning on a team. I always say, build the team around you. And make sure you have the support mechanisms, a great pastor, an organization, a women's group, a men's group, a work environment where you've got the Pastor Larrys of the world available to you. Lean into that, because it just takes that one nugget, I call it, that one piece of inspiration that really forefronts good decision making and calms the mind. Because if we're making decisions in an erratic or stressed position, nothing good is happening from that.
Right.
And that's why I wanted Larry on the show today, because I think that fundamentally there's a lot of gift and grace that comes from talking to a person that's been doing that for so long and has watched so much transition in the world.
Yeah, it certainly has been.
So if you were to really sum up what the common denominator is with the people that you're dealing with at Marketplace when you're working every day, what do you think the common denominator is?
Well, the common denominator is that we're all God's people dealing with life issues, and that we should be patient with each other, love one another. I think of the 2 things that are foundational in my life is love and truth.
Right. That's great.
Obviously, God so loved the world, He gave His Son, and truth sets us free. If we're in a relationship that is full of tension and lies and deceit and all those kind of things, it's going to fail. The foundation stones have to be love, joy, and truth. So those are non-negotiables, and should be the foundation of, and then of course
of everything,
and then forgiveness too.
Everything.
Not one of us doesn't need forgiveness.
Oh, absolutely.
We all blow it. Just keep short accounts. Forgive everybody, no matter what. Focus on giving and being available, making a difference in life and society. Whether it's, when I was younger, we started a baseball program here in town as part of my pastoral thing. That was a great outreach.
Isn't that cool?
That was a great outreach to our community for 16 years. We had a youth baseball program.
That's great.
That taught character lessons. It's called True Sports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, True Sports was a program for 4th and 5th grade, and then it got so big we had to go back to T-ball, an instructional league.
Yeah.
With the help of Dan Pilla, my good friend in town.
Wow.
Dan Pilla, I don't know him or not, but he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah, I do.
We started that baseball program, and it was a character building program, not just to play baseball, but teach kids how to live.
Wow.
So the 10 values, if I may.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
The word truth is True sports, truth, respect, unity, excellence, self-control, perseverance, obedience, responsibility, trust, and sacrifice.
Amazing.
And those were the values of our True Sports baseball program.
That's great.
So teaching character in the context of sports and athletics is better than the sports rage that we've seen happen.
Certainly true. Well, that's a great segue, because that really is a common denominator with all things, right? When you take your 10 pillars and you use sports as an example, and you look at the difference between what's happening now versus even a decade ago, where does the anger come from? Is it in the lessons or the teaching or the lack of? Like, what's the why behind that? There's no filter anymore.
Well, there's inconsistency in lifestyle in the past. Think about somebody's angry about something.
Right.
Their anger is, what's the cause of anger? It's someone wasn't treated well, or they felt that they were shortchanged, or their impatience, or their world's falling apart, and so they explode. And so to deal with that, just be at peace. Just let it go.
Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of that, right?
Yeah.
The lesson of learning to not get so wound up and don't let the little things rattle you.
Become molehills, big giants.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a common denominator with everything. Like everything's just really, when you look at it, it's quite small. When we're fueling it, it's like fueling a fire. There's too much, inflammatory on there, and you've got yourself a bonfire. So as we reverse engineer from the Care Partner experience, which you just started in the past 2 years, right?
Care Partner, yes. 2020.
Yeah, which is amazing.
May
I just
2020.
love this thing. I'm going to put the link up so you guys can check this out. I think any organization, even if you were a small one, bringing somebody like Pastor Larry in just to do a meeting with your team would be an awesome thing.
We're quite diverse too. It's not just
let's talk about
male,
that.
females. We are very diverse as far as our ethnic support. We have people that are African American. We have people Native Americans. We have people that are from Africa.
Wow, it's just fascinating to me.
All over. Well, Hmong. We have a Hmong chaplain. We have some, like I said, from Africa that speak Swahili.
Oh,
and
wow.
Some of our companies have people that speak from African dialects.
Right.
So,
and it's all kinds of companies.
Yep.
It's really any small business to a large organization.
Right. We create our team based on the diversity of the employees.
I love that. So it's just like our model, right? Build the team around you that's right sized to be of the highest and best support possible for the people. Yeah. That's very, very cool. So
I love it. Every day I go to work.
Your entire 30, 40, almost 50 years of life really taught you.
It's been a quick journey.
It goes by so fast.
Oh, my word. Yeah.
So fast. So stepping from just this recent role with Care Partners at Marketplace, 11 and a half years as a chaplain.
Yeah, right here in town.
Right here in town, which is so amazing. Yeah.
I loved every minute of it. Those are my dad's age group. So I felt honored to be a part of the chaplaincy at Boutwell's Landing. It was my favorite thing was the veteran service on November the 11th, and honored our veterans. And then, of course, when they're going through issues of their own health issues, be there, whether they need to move to be in assisted living or memory care. It was a wonderful one-on-one, similar to this, and since it's a one-on-one issue, it's just
within the church.
Yeah. Well, within the community of chaplaincy. Yeah. So
which is amazing.
Whether it's in chaplaincy at a senior living community, or it's a caring partner in the business world, we're here just to bring hope and healing and health to people that are going through difficult times, and say, you know what, you're not alone.
It's amazing.
You're not alone. God loves you. Your family loves you, and we walk with them through those valleys.
So I'll jump into the next and largest stretch of 30 years. When were you inspired? Like, at what age did you know what your calling was?
I'll never forget it.
Oh, I'd love to hear.
I was in college. Well, I became a Christian when I was 14 years of age. I mean, I really came to know Christ in a real personal way. My brother went to a Billy Graham crusade. You maybe heard of the name. Yeah. He's been gone a long time now, but anyway, Billy Graham was speaking, and my brother went to the crusade. And
Okay.
he came home and said, Larry, he said, it's this simple. God loves you. He wants to forgive us our sin. Invite him to come into our heart. He said, read these portions of Scripture. So I read Ephesians chapter 2, 1 to 10,
Wow.
and I was absolutely convinced that God loved me and wants to forgive me. So I prayed a simple prayer. Lord, come into my heart, change my life. I was heading in the wrong direction. I was not doing the good things. And so that was a transformation. But the day I got called into the ministry was when I was in college at a Bible college.
Okay.
I was reading my devotions, 1 John 3:16. It says this, we understand the love of God. He laid down his life for us. And we ought to lay down our life for our brothers. And that verse changed my whole life.
That's amazing, Larry.
Other than the salvation experience.
Yeah.
And so I just said, Lord, I want to serve your people until the day I'm taken home to be with you.
Really, really, really admirable and really amazing.
It happens. This is not unusual in the ministry. What happened to me was pretty much in different ways happens to other people. They get a call. They feel like this is what I want to do. Or it's like you think about a doctor.
Right.
A medical doctor is called to heal. One of my favorite not podcasts, but documentaries is Lenox Hill in New York City.
Yeah.
Oh my, those guys are unbelievable. So we all have a calling or
a gift,
a gift, a passion to make a difference,
right?
To create something. God made us creative. So
right.
Like
That's absolutely right.
Soaps and all the things that you're involved in. And,
it's highly creative. Yeah.
And so
it's so true.
You feel like you're making a difference in life.
So if we go all the way to the beginning, the beginning was the first 30 years when you got out of college.
Right.
And that took you on a journey of traveling, really, and having an experience in a variety of different environments, which is so amazing.
I was a youth pastor for 4.5 years in Pekin, Illinois.
Wow.
I was a pastor of a little church in Iowa, and then I came to Golden Valley, Minnesota, and then Bemidji, Minnesota.
Wow.
And I just loved Bemidji. It was a phenomenal place to raise a family and learn how to hunt. That's where I learned how to hunt. With
Okay.
a dear friend of mine who was a deacon in the church in construction. He said, the last question they asked me before I became their pastor, or they were going to offer me the job, they said, do you hunt?
Great.
After all the theology questions and all that kind of stuff and ministry questions, and they said, we got one more question to ask you.
Do you hunt?
Do you hunt? I said, no, I really don't. Oh, rats. And I said, but one guy said, I said, I'll be willing to learn.
Yeah.
So I got the job, and it was a wonderful.
That's great. And that's where that began.
Yeah, California after Bemidji, then California for a couple of years.
Nice.
And then Stillwater, where we had the baseball program at Oak Ridge Church.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful season of life. But everybody goes through other seasons, and we all go through times where we want to make a change. And,
it's true.
And I need to move on. And it was every step of the way, God opened doors. God kind of gently closed doors. And I just thank God for each one of them and all the people.
Yeah.
I have no regrets on
so many
wonderful people, deacons and loved ones and people in ministry and youth pastors and worship leaders.
Amazing.
All of that, it was phenomenal.
Just amazing life.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Sometime we'll have to do this. Carter Bryce handles my podcast, and Carter's dad is a pastor.
Oh.
Okay. It'll be fun to maybe introduce you guys sometime.
Sure.
Yeah, I think bringing that whole community together is such a fun thing.
Yeah. Yep.
The storytelling to me is so enlightening and special. I think people can learn so much from other people's stories, which was one of my inspirations for getting this started with Fly the Coop, because I just feel like there's those nuggets, right? And that if you don't share them to the broader audience, how do you learn?
Right.
If you can't share, how do you learn? And one-on-one is just so limiting. And we're so lucky now, albeit I sometimes complain about the social media dilemma and the complexities that are part of. I do find a lot of gift and blessing in being able to reach out and have a message and share to those that want to listen, and being able to do one-to-many rather than one-to-one. I think that's super cool about it. So 30 years scoots by and you leave that. I just want to touch on it briefly because I think it's just such a remarkable donation of your life and time. You were a prison minister.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. What was that like?
Chuck Olson, back in 86 to 88, was,
Wow.
excuse me. Yeah. We were part of Prison Fellowship, and my job was to go into the prisons with support people that would do Bible studies, and then also one segment of Prison Fellowship, which is called IFI, Interchange Freedom Initiative.
Wow.
Which is a 12-month program. 12-month program where they are literally in class all day long, and they are getting a biblical point of view on finances and relationships and how to be a better dad. Yeah,
that's crazy.
The recidivism rate in that program when I was there, and it's probably same right now, is the under 1%, 2% nationwide recidivism rate. The average recidivism rate in other programs are like 50%.
Wow.
So anyway, it's a phenomenal program, and I was blessed to be a part of that. We had a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow. So you've been able to take all of this knowledge and experience and forefront it now into such a critical time in the world where business is really it's the patriarch really of all things leading life, in the world. So now you're really able to partner with all these different organizations. So that gives you such variety. Yeah. And so inspiring because, Larry, he's already mentioned 73 years old.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And you have another 10-year career in front of you.
Could be.
Really impressive, everybody.
God willing, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I just really think that the Care Partner team, Marketplace Care Partners, everyone, is something you need to check out. Exceptional employee care.
Yeah, beautiful.
A personal support service for all employees and immediate family members.
Yeah. I do that.
That's brilliant.
I am so blessed to be able to go to some of these companies every single day and just be available. And not a day goes go by that I don't meet somebody that's needing support and we're there for them.
Well,
phenomenal.
It is phenomenal because they're available 24/7. Mm-hmm. They make regular work site visits, so you're on many floors or companies 8 hours. He's working.
No, I'm there not 8 hours. I'm there 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, 2 to 3 hour segments.
Right. You bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
During
right.
an 8 hour work shift.
In an 8 hour work shift.
Yep.
Got it. Yep. So discussing confidential issues and some of the lists you guys stress: parenting, marriage, financial concerns, addiction, aging parents, serious illness, and so much more. Mm-hmm. Provides care for grief, family deaths, and funerals as well.
Really confidential.
Yeah. And I brought this on because I do think it's an inherent part of all of the things that go on when we fly the coop, and is absolutely a reality to the full circle effect of all choices in life. And the workplace is such a big piece of it. And it would be irresponsible to not talk about what I am listening to and hearing about every day, which is anxiety and stress. Yeah. It's a real thing out there. Absolutely. And putting it out there and saying, put the team around you.
Right. Don't go it alone.
Don't do it alone, because there's plenty of people that care and love you and want to be a part of your story. So Larry Forsberg, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I'm super grateful to have you today.
I'm glad we bumped into each other outside the door here today. You said, what? Podcast? I've never been podcast in my life.
You on the camera, Larry. You're awesome.
When I get done with planting the seeds for the deer, I'll be in. So.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on Fly the Coop. Take care.